Your hands look ordinary, but without them, human civilization might never have existed. So what makes your hands one of evolution's greatest inventions? Look at your hands for just a moment. They open doors, hold a cup of coffee, type messages, and tie your shoes without much thought. Yet hidden beneath your skin is one of the most sophisticated biological systems ever created. More than any other part of your body, your hands transformed not only how humans survived but how we built cities, created art, invented technology, and changed the world itself. The story begins millions of years before the first human ever walked the earth. Long before our ancestors learned to make fire or craft tools, early primates lived among tree branches. Survival depended on climbing, balancing, and grasping. And like many mammals with paws or claws, these ancient primates gradually developed flexible fingers capable of wrapping securely around branches. One small evolutionary change would eventually alter the future of our entire species. The thumb slowly became more mobile, rotating toward the fingers in a movement scientists call opposition. This simple-looking ability allowed the thumb to touch each fingertip with remarkable precision. It may not seem extraordinary today, but this single adaptation unlocked countless possibilities that other animals could never fully achieve. Your thumb isn't just another finger. It acts like a powerful partner for every other finger, creating grips strong enough to swing from branches yet delicate enough to pick up a tiny grain of rice. Without an opposable thumb, holding tools, writing, sewing, painting, or using modern technology would become almost impossible. But that's only part of the story. Inside each hand are 27 bones connected by dozens of joints, supported by more than 30 muscles, and controlled by an astonishing network of nerves. While some muscles sit directly inside the hand, many others actually begin in your forearm, sending long tendons through your wrist like carefully organized cables controlling every movement. This design keeps your hands both incredibly strong and surprisingly lightweight. Every time you reach for an object, thousands of signals race through your nervous system. Messages travel from your brain, down your spinal cord, and into the muscles controlling your fingers. Even something as simple as picking up a pencil requires dozens of muscles working together with almost perfect timing. If just one small signal arrives too late, the movement becomes less accurate. Your body performs this astonishing coordination thousands of times every single day without you ever noticing. What's even more impressive is how much of your brain is devoted to your hands. The motor cortex contains enormous regions dedicated to controlling finger movements, while the sensory cortex reserves equally large areas for processing information from your fingertips. If these brain maps were stretched into the shape of a person, the hands would appear massively oversized. That isn't because your hands are unusually large. It's because they provide an extraordinary amount of information to your brain every second. Your fingertips are packed with specialized receptors capable of detecting pressure, vibration, texture, temperature, and movement. The instant you touch a surface, your nervous system begins analyzing tiny details that your eyes may never notice. You can often recognize a coin, a key, or a phone inside your pocket without looking at it. Your brain isn't simply feeling your hands, it's using them to explore and understand the world around you. But human hands weren't designed only for sensation, they were also built for incredible precision. Try buttoning a shirt, threading a needle, or signing your name. Each task requires movements measured in tiny fractions of an inch. Very few animals can perform anything remotely similar. Chimpanzees possess powerful hands, yet their longer fingers are better suited for climbing than for delicate manipulation. Human hands sacrifice some raw strength in exchange for extraordinary control, and that trade changed history forever. Around 3 million years ago, early human ancestors began shaping simple stone tools. At first, these tools were crude and basic, but every generation improved them slightly. Sharper blades made hunting easier, better cutting tools made preparing food more efficient, stronger weapons offered greater protection against predators. Every improvement increased the chances of survival, and those advantages slowly accumulated over thousands of generations. But scientists believed something even bigger was happening. As toolmaking became more complex, the brain also changed. Planning ahead, remembering successful techniques, solving problems, and imagining new designs became increasingly important. Some researchers believe skilled hands and expanding brains evolved together, each pushing the other toward greater intelligence. Your hands weren't simply following instructions from your brain. They were helping shape the very brain that controlled them. Human hands also transformed the way we communicate. Long before written language existed, our ancestors used gestures to point toward food, warn others of danger, comfort children, and cooperate during hunting. Even today, a wave, a handshake, a thumbs up, or a simple touch can communicate powerful emotions without a single spoken word. Modern studies suggest that moving your hands while speaking may even improve memory and learning because gestures activate additional brain networks that help organize complex thoughts. But perhaps the most remarkable ability of your hands is something you rarely notice: adaptation. When you first learn to play the piano, throw a baseball, or use chopsticks, every movement feels awkward. Over time, those same movements become smooth and almost automatic. Your muscles aren't becoming smarter. Your brain is constantly rewiring itself through a process called neuroplasticity. Every repetition strengthens connections between neurons, allowing your nervous system to perform increasingly precise movements with less effort. From an evolutionary perspective, this flexibility offered enormous advantages. Our ancestors couldn't predict the future challenges their descendants would face. Instead of evolving different hands for every task, natural selection favored hands capable of learning almost anything. The same hands that once chipped stone into axes eventually built ships, painted masterpieces, performed delicate surgery, and assembled spacecraft. The biological structure changed very little, but its possibilities became nearly limitless. Modern life has transformed how we use our hands, but their underlying design remains almost identical to that of our distant ancestors. Today we spend hours typing on keyboards, tapping smartphones, and using touchscreens rather than climbing trees or crafting stone tools. Yet your nervous system still reflects millions of years of evolution. Your hands remain healthiest when they perform varied movements, whether cooking, gardening, drawing, playing an instrument, repairing something, or creating works of art. These activities continue strengthening the communication between your brain and your body throughout your entire life. Here's one final surprise: every fingerprint on your hands is completely unique. Even identical twins, who share nearly identical DNA, develop slightly different fingerprints before birth. Tiny changes inside the womb create patterns that no other person has ever possessed. It's one more reminder that your hands are unlike anyone else's. Your hands are powerful enough to build civilizations, gentle enough to comfort someone you love, sensitive enough to feel the texture of a single leaf, and adaptable enough to master skills your ancestors could never have imagined. They aren't simply tools attached to your body. They're living evidence of millions of years of evolution, proving that one remarkable biological adaptation helped shape the entire story of humanity. And every time you reach out, create something new, or help another person, you're using one of evolution's greatest masterpieces.